Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Well, first of all, I'd like to say, and thank you, of course. Thank you for liking and subscribing. So please, if you're not subscribed, please press that subscription button. It's completely free. Press your notifications, the notification bell, and you'll get all the updates of these cases that we're going to talk about today or any other case. And yeah, thank you to my members. Thank you to all of you that bought me coffees, sent super stickers, sent emails, left nice messages. Thank you for all of you for caring about the victims that we talk about. It's so appreciated, and just all the positive impact you give to my channel. Thank you for being part of the VMC community. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. So I'm going to talk about Nancy now, and this very strange video. To me, it's strange. Well, it's a strange case. So we're going to talk about Nancy Guthrie. Again, no developments in the sense of no one's been arrested, detained. A lot of people, since that Friday, the last Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th of February, that was when it was that mad activity, wasn't it? The SWAT team going out and this, that, and the other. Anyway, it's Friday the 13th again this Friday. It's rare to have two Friday the 13th together like that. But you know, this case has gone so quiet as far as law enforcement is concerned. You just have to hope that that's a good sign, that it's gone quiet, because they are on the verge of catching someone. Are they though? I don't know. And the biggest news lately really has just been about Sheriff Nanos and his lying on his resume. And you know, the thing is, people have run out of things to talk about, haven't they? So Sheriff Nanos has come under a lot of criticism because of his handling of this case, and now people are going back and looking at his work history in general, and it's it's not coming up good, is it? This is Sheriff Nanos, of course. I bet he'll be relieved when it's all over, because he's just getting more and more criticism. So yeah, Nancy, and I've sort of, I've come to a. These are just my opinion. So I just want to remind people, this is Vicky Marie Chats. I'm just talking about what I think about cases. It's not for any, I'm not, I'm not an investigator or whatever. We're just literally talking about true crime cases that are mysterious, like Jack and Lily, like Nancy. And also, we want Nancy to be found. Everybody can identify with Nancy, either for themselves, if you're an older person, or it could be your mum, it could be your grandma. This is a lady just asleep in her own bed in Tucson, Arizona. And yeah, this man, this person, whoever this is thought to have just literally gone in and removed her from that house, and there was blood everywhere, and nothing was stolen. So the theory, talk about, you come to a theory in the end when you study these cases. My theory is she was deliberately targeted, and unfortunately, I think I'm going to the thought that, very sadly, I think she was actually killed before she was taken out of the house. I think they deliberately went in there to kill Nancy for whatever reason. I hope, who knows what happened when they went in there. They were in there supposedly for 40 minutes, over 40 minutes. What was happening? And I think the blood on the porch, I think Nancy was already dead. And I think as they carried her out, that's, the blood just leaked out of whatever they were carrying her with. I personally think that rucksack that they took in there, maybe that was full of stuff, maybe it was to transport Nancy. I think they targeted her for whatever reason. 100%. I think Nancy was targeted. And it's hard to believe that it was targeted for burglary because, as I say, nothing was taken, or nothing of value from what people could tell was taken. So what was the motive? Was it an sex motive? There are absolute freaks out there who, look at BTK. He, stalked people for ages. He wrote about it in his journals. He would target somebody. He would follow them around, and his victims were all different ages. He would target them, he would stalk them, and then when the time was right, he would go in there after he'd sussed out their properties and everything. He would go in there and do whatever he did to them. Having said that, didn't take the bodies with him. He did not take Sonia. The reason why this body, well, if it is a body, if Nancy is deceased, the reason why she's been taken is unclear. This is what just makes me feel that there must have some connection to Nancy, because burglars, or even serial killers like BTK, Dennis Rader, they don't take bodies with them. They leave bodies where they are. So there's a reason why Nancy has been taken. Maybe to cause even more suffering to Savannah or to the rest of the family, or, there's a reason why Nancy was taken, in my opinion. Not just, oh God, everything's gone wrong, or let's get this body out of here. I don't believe that, or it doesn't feel right to me. But as I say, just my opinion, just my thoughts, might not be true. Maybe it was just an accident. But anyway, all I'm giving you are my thoughts. So this video that's emerged, this is a video. Now, I do think, don't you, if you try and think of, let me share this. If you try and think of newscasters in your country, wherever you are, there'll be sort of famous news anchors like Savannah. Do their families normally go on the telly talking? The video from their bedroom. Look, I know it's hindsight, and with the benefit of hindsight, we're all cleverer, aren't we? But looking back, it was, your bedroom is a private place, isn't it? I wouldn't like a video of my bedroom going out online, even to my followers. It's a very personal place, your bedroom. Anyway, for some reason, so Nancy has appeared, hasn't she, as part of the Savannah's story, if you like, a couple of times. So there was recently a video, wasn't there, where Savannah went back to her mum's house. They went for dinner in a restaurant, and there's been quite a lot of focus on Nancy as part of Savannah's TV experience, which perhaps you don't often see. If someone's a news anchor, do you normally sort of see about their families and their families' homes and the intimacy of someone's bedroom? I understand why they were in her bedroom, because they were doing this thing on the best way to make a bed. So, of course, you're going to be in a bedroom. But why in her own bedroom? Couldn't they have gone to a hotel bedroom and done it? That seems more sensible, isn't it? Normally, when famous people do things from their homes or whatever, it's not actually their real homes. They're quite sort of careful about giving out too much information, true information about their personal homes, where they are, and that, because there are a lot of crazy people out there. We've just excuse me, Just recently, Rihanna, somebody turned up at her house and tried to shoot her, didn't they? Or was firing off a gun. You know, being a celebrity is great, isn't it? I imagine at the end of the day, people seek fame and fortune. They want people to know who they are. Of course, they want people to know who they are. They want to be famous. They want the good life, the good things about being famous. There's a lot of good things about being famous, but one of the bad things is you lose your privacy, of course. You know, and the more famous you are, the more people are trying to grab photos of you or find out about your personal life. You know, that's a price that comes with fame, and I think you have to accept that, really. You know, if you can't have one with the other, you can't say, oh yeah, I want to be a famous actor and win Oscars, or a famous singer and win Grammys, or whatever singers win. Oh, but oh no, I don't ever want my photo being taken. You know, you've got to try and manage it the best way you can. You can't, you know, your fans are they want to know things about you, and the more personal the better. That is, it's just the way it is. And if you don't know that, you shouldn't go into celebrity status. If you want the celebrity status for whatever reason, you know, you have to be aware of your safety and not give away too many personal things about yourself. Anyway, so but this is unusual because, of course, you know, in her own right, Nancy's not exactly famous, though she was famous because of her connection with Savannah. She was famous for being Savannah's mum, and she'd appeared on TV several times. So this is a TV show from 2013 that Megan Kelly, she's another reporter, I suppose. I don't know much about Megan Kelly, to be honest, but she's unearthed this, or one of her researchers have unearthed this Today Show segment from 2013, which shows Savannah's mum, Nancy Guthrie, inside her bedroom. So let's have a look at it.
Footage of the.
Let me just make it is sharing. Yeah. Let me know if you can hear it. You know, sometimes you can't hear it straight away, and I have to take
inside of Nancy Guthrie's bedroom. We have it. No one's seen this. We found it in a 2013 episode viewing her mom, the mom live in her home in Tucson, Arizona, Savannah live on the Today Show set in New York. It was a lighthearted segment about how to make your bed. Apparently Nancy Guthrie is big on making your bed and had taught Savannah exactly how it ought to be made. And they decided to do one of those fun segments where, like, they have beds on set and the anchors will try to do Nancy's way, and that's what they did. But you are about to see inside Nancy Guthrie's bedroom. Keep in mind, Savannah said her mother was taken from her bed in the dark of night. Well, you're about to see the first time. This is from 20 early.
So she said, let me know if you can hear it, by the way, because if you can't hear it, I've got to take it off and put it back on again. She said, oh, we found it. I bet they've been scouring through every single Today Show. You know, the researchers will have been scouring through it. So this is, it's quite a while ago. So don't forget, Nancy's older again now. Oh, you could presume that this is probably the same bed that she's got now, and it's quite spooky, I think, to think she was just there, probably sleeping, when this person, whoever it was, came in. It's horrible, isn't it? So Savannah's mother's secret to making a perfect bed. You know, it's a strange it's a strange topic, I think. You just feel like, oh, what should we do today? Oh, let's have your mum on showing us how to make a perfect bed. It's a funny old subject, but anyway, there you go. So let me know, just remember, let me know that if you can hear it okay, please.
Hi, Mom. Good morning.
Hi, Savannah.
Well,
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mom. I see that you've already made your bed, even though it's 3 a.m. there or whatever.
Exactly.
Mom, why was this an important skill to teach me?
Well, I think everybody needs to know how to make a bed. And so when the time came to teach you guys how to make a bed, I tried
Now,
it.
this is not just your hospital corners bed making. We're talking you can bounce a corner.
I mean, I'm just thinking about, oh my God, I think my son still doesn't know how to make a bed. I've only just really, of course, years ago, before duvets, when I was a kid, and there'll be younger people of you out there who think, what, before duvets? Was there ever a time before duvets? You'd have your bloody your sheets, a couple of blankets on top, and then maybe not a duvet cover, but a spread like over the top of it, and that would take some making, or have all those layers to sort out. But I think with duvets, I mean, I don't know about you, but I literally have a flat sheet, my pillows, and then a duvet. In the winter, in the summer, of course, when it's really hot here, you don't even have the duvet on. You may just have the duvet cover. Take the duvet out because it gets too hot at some point, and you just have the duvet cover, or sometimes nothing, to be honest, because it's so hot. But beds don't take much making these days, do they? But I'm sure there are people out there. I mean, it is nice when you go to a hotel, you stay in a hotel, and all your sheets are crisp and it's all made perfectly, and that. I love that. But I think in my own home, in normal days, I don't do it. So there you go. Just don't. But obviously, a lot of people do.
Order off of it, right, Nancy?
Natalie, don't put me to the test. It's way too early.
She's backing off.
Nancy, I just want to know how difficult Savannah was when you tried to teach her this. How much screaming and stomping her feet was involved.
All three of the kids thought it was a really worthless skill. You have to in here tightly, because that's going to give you your smooth corner.
And the tuck under.
Then you pull this over, and you make kind of like a triangle.
I remember.
Don't get started yet. And then,
I'm not getting started.
and then you tuck it under as tightly as you can. But here's the little skill. See this nice corner?
Yeah.
You want to make sure that's as tight as can be.
Okay.
Tuck it in.
And you can keep cookies in
Then
there.
when you sleep at yeah, there you go.
And then,
So
Mom,
when you sleep in the middle of the night, it doesn't pull out.
All right.
That's because
there.
for
That's
David,
all
this
right.
would
He's
be a
pulling
toy
it up.
bed.
That's good.
That's
There
the
you
problem.
go.
Now, I have a fitted sheet, so I don't have to do any of that. No tucking in or turning over or triangle. Just a fitted sheet. The easier, the better. I don't want to be, no offense, but I don't, there's life's short enough as it is. I don't want to be spending half an hour out my day making a perfect bed. So it's a fitted sheet. It never moves. So, and then just put the duvet over it. But anyway, this is obvious. Every people have their routines, don't they? And people do things in different ways. But the point of this, of course, is just to show that this is Nancy Guthrie in her bedroom making her bed. They probably should have got. Now, you don't know what crazy person might have been watching that, and it may be nothing related whatsoever with what's happened to Nancy. But it just seems quite an intimate thing. I wouldn't want my family's bedroom to be filmed.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see you. Thanks for coming on the show. I know
What
it's
does
early
this do?
there.
Honey, early.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See where she slept every night, and you can see exactly what this
Let's watch the actual.
The most important thing you have to do is to
Yeah,
make sure
look, that's so rude.
this top sheet is really pulled in here.
That's her bedroom. And what happened to Nancy in that room? And what did the police find in there? That let's not hide, Tori. Let's not forget. So the other thing I want to talk about is my theories. Let's not forget that the police, Nanos, I know it was Nanos, but it was on the first press conference, declared this a major crime instantly. So the blood in the porch, was there blood in Nancy's room? I think there probably was. And I think, sadly, this is, as I say, just my opinion. I think Nancy was killed in her bedroom and taken out in something that the perpetrator had taken with them to deliberately to do that. And that's where the blood drips came from. Maybe she was shot inside. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Don't even want to think about it really. But something happened to her. You know, at the end of the day, something happened to Nancy inside that bedroom. And she was taken away. Now, she looks quite sprightly there, but I think this was 2013. So she was probably in her 70s, maybe early 70s. Yeah, and she looks sprightly in that, but you know, there's a big difference between in your 70s and in your 80s, I suppose. Now she's got like a patio sliding door. Did they enter through there? You know, it is an absolute mystery, this case, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if I have ever known a more mysterious case. As I say, we don't know who did it, we don't know why they did it, and we don't know how they did it. We know nothing. And yet we've had these CCTV pictures for quite a while now. Has been arrested. You know, a couple of people detained, released, no charges, no vehicle, nothing, nada. And we don't know where Nancy is or if she's alive. I don't think she's alive. I'm sorry, I just don't. I think she was probably dead when she was taken out of there. Now, the other mysterious thing about this, as if there's not already enough mysterious things, you know, people keep saying, oh, this was an amateur. It did look, sorry, it's whirring. Need to come back here. If they had been to this property before and sussed it all out, why, when they finally went there, they noticed the camera, or they seemed to notice the camera, why did they not already know to try and cover up the camera? That is not, doesn't strike you as a professional thing, does it? You know, I would say that professional burglars would take something with them because to disable cameras, because surely they expect cameras, they expect home security. You know, that wouldn't be a surprise surely to anyone, whether they'd been there before or whether it was the first time. Wouldn't be a surprise that there was a camera there, surely. You know, most people have got some sort of home security these days. So, yeah, that makes them look like an amateur. I agree there. But then, if they're such an amateur, how are we 40 days later and nobody's been arrested? You know, they've covered their tracks well enough, you know, to not be, unless somebody has been arrested and we just don't know yet. It could come out. I mean, the thing is, news could break today that somebody was arrested overnight, or, you know, it could break at any time, like it did with the Idaho case. Looked like they weren't getting anywhere, and then suddenly they were. Suddenly someone was arrested. And then we found out that actually they'd been tracking Brian Koberger for a long time, hadn't they? He was practically a suspect from day one, really, and they'd identified his vehicle, etc. Same with the Teppes, Monique and Spencer. You know, that Michael McKee, it seems like the police had that Monique's ex-husband. Seems like the police had their eye on him from virtually day one when they tracked his vehicle. But yeah, they have to dot their I's and cross their T's. They don't want to arrest somebody until they have the full information. And it may well be even today, even within the next hour, even within the next day, or it could be another 4 weeks before suddenly somebody is arrested for this poor woman's abduction. But yeah, I mean, what do you think? Is this an amateur, or does it look like an amateur, or did it look like somebody? Are they an amateur? You know, seems when they picked up a load of plants to hide a security camera, they looked like they were an amateur. But then they've not been caught in all this time. Is this two different people, or is it the same person returning on a different day? Looks like the same person to me. Maybe a different jacket in the first picture, but the shape of the legs, etc., look similar. But don't know. Could be someone who's just a similar build to them. And then, of course, we have the closer up photo. Is this what they genuinely look like? Why are their eyes so, you know, it's not only that they're vibrant eyes, you know, or clear, but it does look like there's eyeliner underneath them, but maybe that's just the trick of the light. Many men have dark eyes, you know, and then you've got this sort of Charlie Chaplin moustache. Are they wearing more than one mask? You know, and yet, like as somebody was saying, you know, although they're creeping there in the dead of night, they're not wearing dark clothes, you know, and they've got a reflective backpack on. That backpack has got reflective strips. Why are they not all in black? So I'll tell you, last night when I was driving to go and pick up my son from work, I nearly killed somebody. And I'll tell you why, because they were on one of those scooters, you know, these horrible scooters that people are using, electric scooters, which I know are handy for people to get around with, especially here near where I live, because there's not brilliant transport, public transport. And this young lad, I'd say he was about 20 from what, he just suddenly appeared in front of me. So he was wearing black, all in black hoodie, black jeans, or maybe just normal jeans, but dark jeans, dark trousers, everything in black. I didn't even see him until he was right in front of me. No lights. So he had no lights on his scooter, no lights, dressed all in black. And incidentally, he didn't even have a crash helmet on. So that if I would have hit him, God knows what would have happened to him. But literally, luckily, because it's pitch black, where I go and pick my son up, go through places where there are no lamp posts. There is no main lights. You know, you literally are. You have to put your main light on, you know, your main beam, because you just can't see anything. And that's where this guy just shot out in front of me, because they go fast, those scooters as well, don't they? They're actually quite fast. And he literally, 1 minute I couldn't see anything but darkness, and then he just came out of the darkness. And luckily then, once he went in my main beam, I could see him. And I beeped him. He had right of way. I'm not saying he didn't have right of way. It was on a roundabout. But you just, if only you knew how you could not see him until, because of his dark clothes, why would you go out on one of those scooters with no lights when it's pitch black, in the dark, in all black clothing, and no helmet either? So if I would have hit him, which luckily I didn't, he could have, you know, I don't even want to think about what could have happened. He could have banged his head. It could have been lethal. But the point I'm trying to make is, he's riding along on his scooter and he's dressed all in black. This guy's gone to do a robbery or something, or some nefarious thing. Why is he not dressed in black? Don't understand it. He seems, you know, especially with the reflective backpack, seems a strange thing to do. But anyway, so that's it. I just wanted to show you that video. Does that mean that, you know, I think Nancy was targeted. That's my opinion. I think she was targeted for whatever reason, though I don't know. And I think she was probably taken out of that house. She was already deceased, but maybe we'll get some news soon of what actually happened. I'm still saying prayers for Nancy and for her family. There's always an outside chance, I suppose, that she's okay. But I'll see you really soon in the next video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and press notifications. Thank you for all your support. I'll see you very soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Bye.